Welcome to the Master Passive Income Podcast, where we talk about investing in real estate rental properties with a special focus on making enough money so you can quit your job and live the dream life. And now, here is your host, Dustin Heiner.
All right, it is time for the Master Passive Income Show. My name is Dustin Heiner, and I'm here to help you learn how to quit that J-O-B, that just over broke job. Because, you know, when you're working for somebody else, you're living just over broke because your boss is just paying you enough to keep you working, but not paying you so much that it takes money out of their pocket. Well, I'm here to show you how to quit that J-O-B by investing in real estate rental properties so you never, ever have to work again. Now, I quit my job when I was 37 years old, and I want to see you be able to do that too. Basically, retire early, quit early from working for somebody else and work for yourself, where you're making money on your own as opposed to you working for somebody else. Now, there is something that I want to talk about that I wouldn't say I'm really passionate about it, but it's something that I get asked a lot. And at the same time, it's something that I really love to talk about to everybody, that they don't need turnkey companies. That's the thing I want to talk about, is I get asked all the time, like, hey, Dustin, what do you think about turnkey companies? Turnkey real estate providers. Basically what turnkey companies do, they buy properties, they do all the work in it, they make all the money, and then sell you the property, and then you hope to make a little bit of money from that property. I'll get into a little bit more on how they actually do it and how you can actually make money instead of utilizing them. So I don't use turnkey companies for many different reasons, and we're going to get into that. But I want to show you how I built my business to 30 plus properties where I have so much money coming in so I don't have to work. I want to show you how I did that expressly without turnkey companies. Text the word rental to 33777, and I will give you my free real estate investing course. Text the word rental to 33777. Now, with turnkey companies, there are so many things I want to talk to you about.
Now, turnkey rental properties are very simple in premise. So basically, they buy a rental property, get it fixed up, find a property manager and put a tenant in there, and then you buy it from them. At any given point, you could jump into the process. Let's say they buy the property, and then they find you as an investor, and then you come in and then take over as rehabbing the property or finding the property manager. But you're basically a silent investor. You just give them the money and they do all the work. It could be that the company has a property that's for sale and it still needs rehab. Well, they sell you the property, then take the money from you, fix the property up, find the property manager. Anyway, so there's many different ways for this turnkey real estate investing to work, but the premise is the same. They basically find a property, get a tenant in there, you buy it from them. That's basically how it works out. Now, there are good and bad things about turnkey properties, but the bad way overshadows the good, in my opinion. And those turnkey companies are just about everywhere you look. They promise great things to you and as an investor, but should you actually invest your money in these turnkey real estate investing companies? I'm going to give you my opinion a little later, but let's walk through exactly what they do. So there are many different ways that a company actually does the core business. So let's just start it from the very beginning. Number one, the company selects a part of the country to invest in and identifies a property before you become a part of the investment. So they've already got the business plan set up in, let's say, Idaho or Ohio or Kansas or Texas. They basically have the business set up. And if you find them and they say, hey, if you want to invest here, we'll get you started. So they find a part of the country to invest, and even they find an area of the city, and they specifically find even the property. So number two, they sell you a home with the promise of turning that home into a rental property for you. Obviously, you pay, but they do all the work. So the price is fixed, and you know exactly how much money you're required to pay to get financing for. Everything from the purchase price to the rehab. The cost of the rehab. They're not going to do that for you. You're going to have to pay them to do that. Number three, all negotiations, title work, closing documents, everything is done by the company for you. Now, I will say quickly that they're going to charge you for that, but they are going to do all the work for you. Number four, the rehab is done by the company's subcontractors, and you are charged for all the work that's done to the house. Another quick note, you will also get charged an upcharge for them controlling the subcontractors or managing them. Number five, once the property is rehabbed and the turnkey real estate company selects the property manager, The property manager then finds a tenant. So 5 is they find a property manager. Number 6 is that property manager finds a tenant and places the tenant in the property. All the while, you're not involved whatsoever. Number 7, you're supposedly to receive rents from the profits minus the expenses and the property management fees, taxes, insurance, all that sort of stuff. And then you're supposed to receive income or passive income every single month. Then you hope to give your money to a good company that's actually not going to steal your money. They're not charlatans. They're going to be con artists. If it works out as it would, it sounds like a good plan, right? Right? Shoot. They're doing all the work. You're just giving them money and you get a good deal and you get money at the very end every single month. Well, you get a business built already for you with little to no effort on your end. But at the same time, you didn't build that business. You don't know what that business is about. You don't know who you're working with. You don't know what type of tenants you have. You don't know what the contractors have done. There's so many things, so we'll get into it. Now, if it sounds like it's too good to be true, then it possibly is. Now, recently, a well-known ex-Fox News host, his name was Clayton Morris, he quit being on Fox News. I think he was host on Fox and Friends or something like that in the morning. So his name is Clayton Morris, and he started a company called Morris Invest. And he invests in real estate and was doing, being successful. And he started a company called Morris Invest. And recently, they've run into issues with investors. And they're a turnkey rental company. And so what they do is they find investors, they find properties, they match them up, and then do all the work from beginning to end to getting a property manager and getting a tenant in there, and you getting profits every single month. So they sell these turnkey rental properties, but at the same time, they're now starting to have issues. Problems are coming up. So Morris Invest finds homes, they rehab, they get the property manager and place them in, but sometimes things don't get done. Like the rehab doesn't actually get done. Now, if you go to my website, masterpassiveincome.com, the show notes page is /015, so masterpassiveincome /015. Go to the show notes page where I actually have videos of investors walking through their properties and seeing the work or lack of work done on the properties. This investor actually paid like $20,000 to get the property fixed up. Well, in the end, he's looking at the property. The video shows the property is definitely not done. It's not livable, and it's actually even not rented, even after Morris Invest and their property management company, I believe it's Ocean Point, that they are actually telling the investor that the property's rented, and they're guaranteeing rent, and they're still getting a rent check, but there's nobody living in the place. It's actually unlivable. And they've even had issues where the city has cited them because of their lack of maintenance on the property, repairs on the property, and making the place unlivable because there's so many issues. Also, they have another video talking about the Ocean Point Properties, which is the property management company that Morris Invest either owns or works for. I don't really know, or works with. Maybe they're working together or not. I'm not sure. But Ocean Point manages all the properties from Morris Invest, and it shows properties that tenants have moved into but are absolutely not fixed up. Like somebody moved out, and an investor probably paid good money to have it repaired, but it never actually did, or at least that's what the video seems like. I could be completely wrong, but this is the news the news video. I think it's like Call 6 Investigates is the video for ABC, and apparently some people called in the news station, and the news said, hey, this sounds like a good idea to go and interview these people. But they walk through the house, and the house looks horrible. I think it's a duplex that this one tenant's living in, and they flush a toilet next door in the duplex, and their ceiling leaks, the next unit over. So it's really, really sad how some turnkey properties can be very bad, and some turnkey companies can be bad. Now, I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm not saying that that you shouldn't go with them. I'm just giving you the opinion that I would never go with a turnkey rental property company, because investing in real estate is so easy. Like I said, go get my free course. It'll show you how easy it is. It's actually very simple as long as you know the steps, and I could teach you all the steps, and follow along on the podcast and you'll see all the steps. Now, through these videos, you'll see that if an investor is not fully engaged in the property from the very beginning, from the buying, the rehabbing, fixing up, getting a property manager, building the business around the property, if the investor is not fully engaged in the business, things like this can happen, where you basically get taken advantage of. At least it seems like these people are getting taken advantage of. Now, I'm sure Morris Invest is trying to do its best, but it's just not working out well, and you just need to be aware that things like this happen. So the bottom line with turnkey real estate investing is that you're buying a business that someone else built with the intent to sell. to an investor like you. Now, the turnkey company could possibly cut corners or even completely con you out of your money. I'm not saying that Morris Invest or Ocean Point actually did any of that, but there are bad people out there that would take advantage of you like this. Now, with the chance of losing all your money, why would you choose to give it to somebody that you could do yourself, especially how much more money you can make? There's so many different reasons why you should do it yourself, and I'm going to walk you through those. The main reason most people turn to turnkey properties is that the work is already done, and the investor doesn't want to take the time to learn the business and start from the ground up, which I'm saying that you cannot get wealthy by cutting corners, and this would be cutting corners. So I'm encouraging you to learn the business so that you don't run into these issues where you have a dilapidated property, you have a property management company that's not placing tenants right. There's so many different issues that can come up because you're not running it. So not all these companies can be scams and designed to steal your money. I'm not saying that they all are, but you want to be very cautious with the money you have to invest. I mean, this is for your family, for yourself and your family. So whenever anyone asks me if I would invest in turnkey real estate or what I think of turnkey real estate, usually I ask them, why not just do it all yourself? It's really not complicated, and you won't take the chance of having these issues fall on you and somebody stealing your money. So why not just do it yourself? It is super simple to do. In reality, all you need is an elementary school education, and you can do what I do. Trust me, I'm not a very smart guy. But I've learned how to invest my money so that I get a return every single month, and I literally will never have to work another job again. So let's go through some major problems with turnkey real estate investing. These are the major problems with turnkey real estate investing. Number one, properties are in areas you don't know. Let's say it's a different area of the country that you've never seen, you've never talked to anybody, you don't know anything about it. Let's say it is in a bad part of town. You really don't know exactly what type of properties you get. And even if you do know what type of properties that you get, it is much better to do your own homework on the area to make sure that it's a place that you want to invest in and which parts of the town that you're actually going to invest in that are better than others, that have lower crime rates, that are not going to have bad tenants and be hard to rent and have little to no appreciation. All the negative things about investing in a place that you should not invest in. What turnkey real estate companies do is they really just find decent priced homes, or when I'd say decent, I mean low priced homes, so that they can buy and get an investor to say, "Ooh, that's a cheap price. I'm living in Los Angeles, and homes are going for $600,000 here, and oh wow, I could buy a house for $100,000 and rent it out. Well, let me go ahead and do it. That's cheap." Well, in reality, you're way overpaying for the property. So, number one, the properties are in areas that you don't know, don't understand. You don't have the business built around it so that you can see what happens, so that you understand the area well enough to invest. Properties can be bought in bad neighborhoods. So not just the area of the country that you're investing in being bad, but if you got a good area of the country, but the neighborhood is really bad, more than likely it's going to be hard to get that property rented or even fixed up or keeping it safe. So the properties that are in bad neighborhoods tend to have more crime, and your property will get broken into more often. You will have tenants that move out more often, or even tenants that just stay longer than they are supposed to, and you actually have to evict them. They're squatters. They won't actually leave the property when they stop paying. So these properties that are in bad neighborhoods can potentially cost you lots and lots of money, not just on overpaying for a property, but having tenants that live in there and do not take care of the property, or people breaking in. There's so many different negative things can happen if you don't know exactly what is going on in that area, part of town, what the crime rates are and all that sort of stuff. And building your business yourself, you would become very knowledgeable on that very quickly because of all the people you put on your team, like realtors, property managers, other investors, inspectors, contractors, things like that will help you to understand, hey, don't invest over here because this is a really rough side of town, or do invest over here because it's actually going to give you a really good return. Number three, you don't know what the actual condition is of the property. You're really just putting all your faith in the turnkey rental property company to buy a good property and give you adequate numbers on what it's going to cost to fix up. So you don't usually get to walk through the property. They may give you a home inspection, and that home inspection is obviously something they paid for, so they may cover things up. You don't really get to know as a normal homeowner actually would. They want you to be very standoffish, be basically a private investor that is going to be a passive investor where you're not going to be doing a lot of work. That's really how they would like to see it. So they do all the work and just turn over the keys, make money on you. So now, like I said, number 3, you don't know what the actual condition is of the property. Number 4, the turnkey property company adds a percentage onto the rehab work. Let's say that the rehab company, the turnkey company is actually telling you that it's going to be $20,000 to fix up the property. Well, if they say it's $20,000, more than likely 10% has already been tacked on. So let's say they get a quote from their subcontractors for like $17,000. Well, they're going to say, let's just throw on, another 10% on top of that. And so they add in their work because, they're managing the contractors, the subcontractors, managing the process. Obviously, they need to get paid. But my opinion is, why not do that yourself? I managed the rehab of one of my properties in Texas completely over phone without ever stepping foot on the property, seeing the house, anything like that. I basically relied on my property manager, my real estate agent, my inspectors, my contractor. I relied on all of them. And in the end, I got a fantastic property because I had other people be my eyes and ears. Now, obviously, they took pictures. They sent them over to me. I was able to review everything, but I never stepped foot on the property. And I did not pay an extra 10, 15, or 20% on top of all the work being done. So you also want to watch out that you're paying extra for the work that's being done. Another one. Number 5, no appreciation of value after rehabbing the property. And the reason why is because you're paying a premium for this property. Now they're going to try to tell you that, they've given you a little, a bone to chew on. Basically the price is here, the market value is here, you're going to make so much money. It's really easy to say that you're buying the property for $100,000. We're fixing it up for $20,000. So you're in it $120,000 and it's now going to be worth $160,000. It's easy to say that. Another thing is to actually prove it and actually come true. So the problem is that more than likely, the value of the home is only going to be $130,000, $120,000, even after you put in the $20,000 into the property. So the appreciation of value after rehabbing the property, it should go up because you bought it lower, you fix it up, it makes the property go up higher. Now, the property does get more valuable, but you've paid a higher premium. And that's number 6, is that you don't get any equity in the property when you first buy the property. When you buy a property, as an investor, I look for deals on properties. I look to make sure that I have equity in the property. So if I'm buying a house for $100,000 and I know that's how much it's worth, that's the market value, I'm going to try to get it for $80,000 or $85,000. I'm going to try to get it for lower than what it's actually worth, so I get automatic equity in the property. Well, what these companies do, they lock them up, or they basically get them under contract from a seller, and they sell it to you for a premium. They sell it to you above market rate, and they try to basically make you think that you're getting a really good deal, when in actuality, you're probably not. You can get a better deal because they're taking a cut from the sell as well. So if they're selling an $80,000 house, and they're selling it to you for $80,000, they've got a contract with the seller for maybe $70,000. They're taking $10,000 off the top because of the work they've done. Now, I'm not saying they don't deserve it because they've done the work, but I'm saying is, why not do that yourself? It's super easy to find properties. Might as well put in the effort to hire realtors, having the realtors look for properties, you going on Zillow or Craigslist, finding properties to buy, and you pocketing that money as opposed to somebody else. Number 7, so you weren't the one to hire the property manager. That's huge. Now, I only work with property managers that I wouldn't say necessarily enjoy talking with, but property managers that I don't get irritated after talking to them. So if I am interviewing property managers, or when I am interviewing property managers, and I get a sense that, you know what, I just don't like working with this person, or even just talking to this person on the phone. It's hard for me to work with them. They may be a great person, but for some reason, either my personality doesn't match or whatever it might be, it's just not going to work out. I want to work with somebody that I'm going to work with for a very long time. I want to hire a property manager that I'm going to be working with for 10, 15, 20 years. I don't want to have to change property managers every other year. That's so much work finding new property managers. I absolutely do not want to do that. So I hire my property managers right. And if you want to check out the podcast where I talk all about property managers, go to my number 4 podcast where I talk all about property managers. And to find the show notes and to find it, go to masterpassiveincome.com/004. Get all the information on property managers. And the 8th problem that I see with turnkey rental properties, you don't have a team of people working with you. You more than likely are stuck with just the one person, the property manager. It could be a big company, it could be a small company, but you basically just have the property manager. You don't have other people that can be your eyes and ears. Without having multiple people having eyes on your property, you're really only trusting the one person to tell you all the truth about the property. Now, hopefully the person is actually very trustworthy, but I'm going to find that there are not always trustworthy people to be worked with. So let's say you get a property manager that's actually not telling you the truth. How are you going to know that they're not telling you the truth unless you have a realtor that can go by there, or an inspector, or a handyman, or somebody else that can go by the property and tell you what's going on with the property? Now, these turnkey companies, they basically say, hey, just rely on the property manager. They'll do all the work. You don't need to worry about them. Well, in reality, you do need to worry about them. They're a normal human being, and they could do things that are not in your best interest. So what I'm saying is you need to have a team of people. Now, let's look at the team of people. You're going to need to have, obviously, a good property manager. That's one of them. You're going to need to have multiple realtors that can, at any given point, drive by the property. You're going to need also contractors, subcontractors, like plumbers and roofers, things like that, electricians. You're also going to need inspectors that can go out and inspect the property. You're going to need leasing agents. You're going to need title companies. You're going to need notaries. You're going to need so many different people on your team that can help you with your business. Now, if you go with a turnkey rental property, you don't have that team basically built up from the ground up. Now, you can do that after the fact, but I personally believe there's so many different ways that you can make money in real estate that you don't need to go with a turnkey company, and you could do it all yourself. Now, the next one, number 9, the tenant is selected for you. Now, your property manager could be great and find a great tenant. Now, I'm going to say it's not always the case. So if you don't get a say on who is actually going in your property, you can really get anybody. They may say, okay, you have the down payment, you have the deposit, and you have the first month's rent. Okay, move in. Well, then in a month, they don't have next month's rent, and then you have to go through a month-long, 2-month-long, sometimes, like if you're in California, 3-month-long eviction, and then they're squatting on the place, and you have to evict them, get the sheriff deputy out there to kick them out. So the tenant can be selected, or will most likely be selected for you, which is not the best. So if you pick a good property manager who knows how to find good tenants, then you're set where you don't have to make the decision. I have good property managers, and they help me find good tenants, but I also select the tenant. They say, here's the person that I think would be a good fit for your property. Here's the application. Here's everything they said. This is what their income is. I want you to make the decision. I always make the decision, like yes or no, but I also do take their information and their advice into account before I make a decision. Now, in this real estate business of rental properties, you're going to find that rents are never guaranteed. You're going to find companies that are turnkey companies that actually say, we guarantee that at the first month or by latest the second month, you'll get rent money coming in every single month. They guarantee it, or they're going to pay it out of their pocket, obviously. That is a scam. That is definitely a scam, in my opinion, because their rents are never guaranteed. They're going to say you will have it rented all year long and you'll get your rent no matter what. Well, they're dipping into other people's money in order to get that covered. So I'm going to say rents are never guaranteed. And if you hear that somebody's guaranteeing you rent, I would personally run, or I encourage you to run away from that, because if it's too good to be true and sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. So you want to make sure you keep your eyes wide open. So here's some things to watch out for when you're looking at turnkey companies. Number 1, overpriced homes. Now, these overpriced homes will actually be, you'll think that they're on market value, but in reality, because of the condition, because of the work that needs to get put into it, because of the area, whatever it might be, the price that you're actually paying is overpriced. And the big reason why is they need to take their cut. They're making money on the sale, as well as any realtor fees on one or both ends. So there's a lot of fees coming out of your pocket, as well as the turnkey company taking money off the top. So you're getting overpriced homes that you would normally be able to have good deals on. Number 2, rehab expenses and charges. Those rehab expenses and charges, extra charges that the turnkey company will charge you, everything like 10% on top of all rehab work done. So if they work on your house, they'll tack on 10%, like it talked about earlier. And as well as any fees, like if they need to drive by the house, they might charge you a fee to drive by the house. If they need to go and collect rent, they might charge you money for collecting the rent. There's so many different charges that they may charge you with, and even the property manager will charge you with. You need to watch out for these things. And if you buy a house that's turnkey like this, you don't get to make sure that you buy a house that's, number 1, good. Number 2, you get a good property manager that doesn't have all these hidden fees, and you don't find bad tenants. So doing it all yourself is actually a much better way to go. Also, another one, number 3, rental guarantees. I said this just a few minutes ago, that rental guarantees are a sham. If a company is guaranteeing rent, completely think, or like have your mind made up that it is not worth your investment of your money, because more than likely you're actually buying a property that is not going to be ran well. More than likely the company is not going to be taking care of the property well. It's just a not good thing to guarantee that you're going to get rents. Where I teach real estate, I'm not guaranteeing that anybody is going to get rent. I'm not guaranteeing that you're going to make money every single month, because there are up and down months. But as you buy enough properties, where it took me, I think it was like 19 properties. After I had 17 to 19 properties, one of the two, I had enough money where I didn't have to work another job. But I've now since have 30 plus properties that, praise the Lord, I have plenty of money coming in. But I never guarantee rents because I know it fluctuates. Another one, number 4, would be bad or unfinished renovations. Now, if you can go to my website where you see the videos that I posted about the Morris Invest property, where this investor paid $20,000, was told that the property was fully rehabbed, but actually wasn't. He went around and videotaped the property and showed how shoddy the work was, and even work wasn't even done. So you get unprofessional and unfinished renovations, and even basically not done. Like they tell you it's done, but it's not. Number 5, not maintaining a portfolio of their own rental properties. So watch out for things like this. If a turnkey company doesn't actually have a portfolio of their own rental properties, let's say, 30, 40, 50 rental properties, if they don't actually manage their own properties and have properties of their own, be very leery, because number 1, they may not know how to actually do it. They're just putting it together and selling it off, and that's how they make their money. But number 2, they don't know what it's like to be an investor. They're looking at their next sale, and you're the next customer. And so they don't know how to set up the business right. And you're going to get a property manager that's not good. You're going to get a property that's not good. The rehabs aren't done well. So be really leery when they don't have their own properties in their portfolio as rental properties. Number 6, unprofessional actions or attitudes. So like I said, I personally don't like working with people that I don't like working with. So if I have a choice, which I always do because I'm my own boss, I don't work with people that I don't like. And people that have unprofessional actions or attitudes, I don't like working with. Like there was a guy that brought me a wholesale deal. His attitude and actions and words were horrible. I mean, he was cussing all the time. He was talking about my property manager, how stupid she was, and yada, yada, yada. Just a very bad dude. He had a good deal, but just on principle, I didn't want to buy it from him because he was such a bad guy. I didn't care if I was going to make money. My principles were stood up more than that. I said, I didn't tell him this. I just, stopped talking to him. He's like, I'm not going to buy it from you. Your attitude is just horrible. No, I take that back. I did tell him that. I forgot. I actually did tell them that. I just don't like working with you because your attitude's horrible. You cuss at everything. You belittle my property manager. You do all these bad things. And anyways, all that to say, I don't work with unprofessional people that have unprofessional actions and attitudes. Another one, lacking business experience. Let's say the company doesn't know how to actually manage the business well. They don't know how to manage contractors. They don't know how to manage property managers. They also don't even know how to manage their own business, making sure that they call people back on time, that they make their meetings, that they show up presentable. They don't have business experience running properties. They don't have business experience owning real estate. You want to be very leery and watch out for companies like this. Another one is little to no business support behind them. So a company like a turnkey company would be 1 or 2, maybe 4 people. Be very curious and cautious because they may not have a lot of people around them helping them do their business. They may be doing it all themselves, but they're all done very poorly, as opposed to companies that hire out, that have in-house, technicians or roofers or whatever, handymen that actually do the work. Be very leery if it's just like a one-man shop or 2 or 3 people working together. They may not be doing things the best way, so be very leery about that. Now, the last one is that you need to watch out for. It's lacking business systems. You need to watch out for people and companies that don't have systems in place, because your company will have systems in place that you can go on vacation for 6 weeks and not have to worry about money coming in, worrying about tenants, worrying about the property manager, because your systems are in place in the business so that it runs itself. Now, if these companies don't have business systems put in place, like everything being electronic, or having systems that would say what type of paint color, how to rehab the property, what's the criteria for rehab, what's the criteria for the type of tenant, what's the criteria for the type of property manager we work with. If they don't have business systems already set up, which you should already have them for your business, if they don't, I want to say be very leery about that. So that was a list of the things to watch out for and all the problems with turnkey rental properties. Now, investing in real estate is actually super simple once you get the base knowledge. Now, again, go to my website, masterpassiveincome.com. I'll give you a free investing course. So masterpassiveincome.com/free course. Just for signing up for my newsletter, being part of my podcast, I'm going to give you a free course. Now, when I first started investing in real estate, I looked at turnkey properties as a way to get started because I really didn't know how to get started. And as I'm looking back now, I'm really, really glad I didn't, because I was able to build my own business. Now, some people might say, hey, well, this turnkey property and investing with turnkey companies are a great way to jump into the market, jump into a business that somebody's already built for me. And my response to that is you are going to be overpaying for a property, whether it's the purchase price, whether it's the rehab and the fix up, or the fees, or whatever you're going to be coming out of pocket $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 more than if you would have done it all yourself and built your business on your own and created the business and then bought your property, got it rented, and got cash flow coming in and passive income. And so if you think you're going to be spending $10,000 or more, which more than likely you will, and you're basically buying a property off of a company who's trying to make money off of you, why not take that money or even a fraction of it and invest in yourself? For example, my ultimate real estate investing course is $1,997. So basically $2,000. You would make that money back if you bought one property with the things that you learned through the course, plus any extra money you would have saved. So if you normally would pay $10,000 or $20,000 over what you normally would if you did it yourself to a turnkey company, then you would basically be putting that money in your pocket as a resource for you to invest in the future. Right now, my ultimate real estate investing course is on sale for only $997, which is half off. That is crazy considering what you will learn. You'll learn everything you'll need to be able to buy your first property and start your own business on your own. So with my course right now only being $1,000, if you would have overpaid by $20,000 for a turnkey property, you would basically be saving $19,000 and putting it back in your pocket to invest someplace else. Even if it was overpaying by $10,000, that's $9,000 that you did not overspend because you built your company right. On top of that, you know you have a solid business because you built it yourself.
And remember, I want to show you how you can do this all without turnkey companies. It is not as hard as you think it would be. It's actually very simple. in premise, simple in practice, simple in every way. You just got to be able to put in the work. And I want to show you how to do that work. Text the word rental to 33777. Get started investing in real estate. Get my free real estate investing course so you can get started investing in real estate. Text the word rental to 33777. I would super appreciate it if you went to my YouTube channel and checked out all the videos. I've created even more content on how to invest in real estate on my YouTube channel. Go to masterpassiveincome.com/YouTube or just search for Master Passive Income on YouTube. Get there and click on subscribe. If you click subscribe and then you actually email me, support@masterpassiveincome, email me a screenshot of you with this subscribe button with your account, actually checked, showing you subscribed, send it to me. Email it to me. I will literally send you my best-selling book, How to Quit Your Job with Rental Properties, in PDF and audiobook format, completely for free. That was masterpassiveincome.com/YouTube. Email a screenshot of you subscribing to support@masterpassiveincome.com, and I will get that to you right away. You'll be able to download it. It literally comes to me. I'm like one-man band here. It'll come to me, and I will send it to you. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for being here with me on the Master Passive Income Show. See you next time.